Today we're going to take a look at some shocking videos discovered on a private Arab chat group. Warning, the results are rather disturbing. I'm Ben, and this is the Israel Guys. Welcome back to the Israel Guys, where we believe that in a world of Jew hatred and anti-Israel propaganda, you should have a direct connection to the land and people of Israel. Guys, thank you so much for joining us on the show once again. If you like this content, don't hesitate to subscribe, hit the like button, and also leave us a comment below to get engaged in the conversation. Today, I want to go through a couple of videos that have been brought to light from private Arab chat groups by an organization called Memre. They specialize in monitoring Arab TV stations in Arabic and also private chat groups now, and translating those with English subtitles for Western audiences. Because unfortunately, throughout the years, we've seen a number of times you have leaders inside of Arab culture and inside of Judea and Samaria and also other Arab states who say one thing out of one side of their mouth in Arabic to Arab-speaking audience, and then they turn around and say the complete opposite to a Western audience. This is a problem that's been very pervasive throughout the years, and Memre has been doing a good job of combating that by bringing what they actually say in Arabic to Western audiences. So I'm going to start with this video over here that they posted to their Twitter page, and this is from a private Telegram group inside of Arab neighborhoods, probably from inside of Nablus, Shechem, biblical Shechem, or Ramallah or Jenin.
حبيبي يما الطبيعي لما إنسان بيقتحم أرضك بينتهك عرضك تقاوم هذا الطبيعي.
And you can see as I play through the video, they show terrorists scouting out places to kill Jews and show how to do it, how to work undercover. Then they show, how to use your weapon, how to sneak up on innocent Jews sitting in a coffee shop and shoot them in the back of the head. I'm gonna kind of blur some of this out because even though it's not graphic, it's a simulation, YouTube will probably censor us on this. And also it's disturbing. And then they show how, if you have a gun jam, how to, take a knife and murder the person straight out. And then in the second video they posted, it gives instructions as to after you commit the terrorist attack, if you get caught in a firefight with the military, here's the best way to use your car as a shield, the places to hide behind. And then in this third video, in the same thread, they give this simulated experience of Jewish youth going through an Arab town, I guess, like breaking windows and tipping over trash cans. And they show how, if something like this is happening, here's how you can set an ambush and butcher everyone in the process. Unfortunately, this is the state of Arab media. This is not the first time we've seen something like this. It happens over and over and over again. Just on the show a little while ago, we discussed, a couple of weeks back, we went through a video of a kindergarten inside of Judea and Samaria where the young kids are being taught how to be terrorists, how to ambush Jews, how to slaughter them, and being shown this glory of this is what happens, after you slaughter Jews and become a martyr. And, this is what will happen to you after that happens. And it's really sad. It really is really sad. And it's no wonder so many terrorist attacks happen, inside of Judea and Samaria when this is being pushed in the media so much. And here in just a second, we are going to kind of do a breakdown as to what's the draw. Why is there this age-old push in between, Arabs and Jews, that Arabs feel like they have to murder Jews and have this push generation to generation to generation to murder Jewish civilians. We're going to go into that in just a second. But first, Millions of Christians visit Israel every year. But do you know how many of them come to Judea and Samaria? Hardly any at all. Unfortunately, they're missing out on the place where more than 80% of the Bible was either written or took place. You can't go anywhere in Israel's biblical heartland and not be in the middle of a biblical site. Most tours, however, ignore this incredible region of Israel. Introducing the Heartland Experience, the only Israel trip that focuses exclusively on Israel's biblical heartland. Our next trip is May 16th through the 29th, and registration is already filling up. Even though this is a tour, we also incorporate a few volunteer experiences so that you can get your hands dirty while serving the land and people of Israel. We find that most people get much more out of their trip when they have an opportunity to serve. The Heartland Experience is not only the perfect way to experience Israel, it is a perfect way to experience the land and people that call Judea and Samaria Israel's biblical heartland home. To find out more, go to serveisrael.com/volunteer or click the link in the description below. Okay, so why do these terrorist attacks happen? Why is there this drive to murder Jews generationally, generation to generation? That continues. Why can Palestinians not, lay down the past and move forward? And in my opinion, it kind of rests on two basic facets. One is the Middle East is made up of tribes. It's just a fact. It has been for generations, for centuries at this point. And in a way, in the desert, this is how you survive. You have to live in tight family clans that protect the limited resources that you have in order to survive. And when you get defined as those tight family clans, those tribes, the other tribe naturally becomes the other, with a big O. And with that, when the Jews returned back to the land of Israel en masse in the 1920s and 30s and 40s, and so on from there, they naturally became the other with a big O. They naturally became the opposition to the tribes that were in the Middle East before Israel came. And so I think that's one facet. It's just natural tribal fighting, that you had tribes that were here that fought each other. And when Israel came back, they became, they kind of naturally slipped into the role of another tribe, the outsiders, kind of the other with a big O. And so there's this natural sort of resentment that happens in that regard. And on the other hand, the other facet that this rests on is really Islam. From the beginning, when Muhammad started his, receiving his quote-unquote prophecy to write the Quran really is a plagiarism of the Christian Hebrew Bible, of the Jewish Hebrew Bible. And the Quran is basically taking the stories that we have in our Western Bibles and rewriting them in kind of a different way. And when Muhammad started doing this, his friends and relatives really made fun of him for it, because they realized it was, basically a direct plagiarization of the Christian Bible. And in order to avoid this ridicule and make Islam feel like a legitimate religion, Judaism and Christianity had to cease. They had to become null and void. They had to become discredited. And so inside of Islam, you see this discreditation started with Muhammad. And Muhammad went on to slaughter Jews, slaughter Christians, and then kind of start this century-old feud in between Christians and Islam, which ended up going back and forth with Christians and Muslims slaughtering each other. And because of that, Jews that practice Judaism are a direct threat to Islam, because Islam is a plagiarization of Judaism and Christianity. And because of that, Jews in Muslim countries, if they were allowed to live and survive, have always, for the most part, lived as second-class citizens and have lived as the underdogs. They've had to, a different set of rules for Muslims and Jews, or Muslims and Christians. And so in 1948, when you had Jews return to the land of Israel, to their biblical homeland, assisted by Christians, when you had that happen, it was a direct spit in the face to Muslim ideology. It was a direct spit in the face to Muslim culture. And that's a slight that so far Muslims in general have not been able to lay down. And it kind of started this I mean, you really can just feel that kind of dynamic, because that when huge swaths of your religion are based on discrediting another religion, when Jews return back to the land of Israel, and when they thrive, and when they build a culture and build, political stability, and when they build an incredible army and they defend themselves and create, cut out this state of being for themselves, that's something that really cannot be forgiven. That's something that really, there's no way for Muslims, from a religious standpoint, to be able to move forward with. And that's why peace inside of Israel is so complicated. And you can't, you have politicians all the time that come in and say, oh, if we can only make a deal, we're gonna make a two-state solution. If we can only trade this little bit of land for, Israel, you give up Judea and Samaria, you give up the West Bank, and we'll make a peace deal. Arabs, the PLO, the Palestinian Liberation Organization, which is headed by Mahmoud Abbas, the current president of the Palestinian Authority, current dictator of the Palestinian Authority. The PLO was created in 1964, before Israel conquered Judea and Samaria in the War of Self-Defense in 1967. The logo of the PLO is the entire state of Israel. This is not a question of Judea and Samaria. This is not a question of a land swap. This is a question of Jews practicing Judaism as a modern faith, thriving at all in the Middle East. That's what this is about. And Muslim jihadists, these terrorist organizations, from Hamas to the PLO to just homegrown terrorists inside of Muslim communities, will never rest, and they will never be satisfied as long as Jews are living and are thriving. That's really the simple reality, and that's why no peace deal inside of Israel will ever be successful, and unless something radically changes. God willing, maybe it will, unless something radically changes with Islam and with the Arab culture as a whole. Guys, thank you so much for joining us today. Please don't forget to subscribe if you have not already, and get the conversation going below in the comments. As always, tune out the fake news and tune into what is actually happening here in the land of Israel. We'll be back every Monday through Friday with your direct connection to the land and people of Israel.